And welcome back to another episode of Sistas in Crime with Shot and Toy. My name is Toy, short for Latoya.
And I'm Shy, and that's short for Shamia.
And this week we're going to get into a case. It's not a recent case, however, there have been recent developments, so we thought the time was just perfect just to go ahead and dive into this. This case originally took place in 2014. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The events of this case occurred in 2014, but there was a recent development this year in 2024. So, as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe to our channel. We are on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on TikTok, we on Instagram. We love the support. Please leave a comment. Please leave a suggestion. We like to read your comments. We've really been interacting with people more so on TikTok because
Yeah.
that's just been where our views been at. So
hmm
follow us on there if you want to interact with us. And we're gonna go ahead and get into the case. There is a slight trigger warning this time because it is kind of a some brutal things going on. So just be mindful of that. If you're not one that is able to stomach that, it is murder. I mean, with true crime, it's usually murder we discuss. Go ahead and we'll give you some time to exit off now. But if not, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and let my sister get into it.
Okay, y'all. So let's get into the case today. So today we're, like my sister mentioned, we're covering the case of Heather Mack. So her first name, I believe, is Lois. It's Lois Heather Mack. She was born in October 1995. She was born to a notable jazz musician, Mr. James Mack, and they labeled her as a socialite. Her name is Sheila Ann Von Weesey Mack. Her name was hyphenated Mack. So Heather was brought up, in an affluent community. Her dad, and mother had, they had a little coin. So she was very spoiled. Particularly, she was very close to her father, James. Just every source where I read, she was very close to him, loved him. They were inseparable. He spoiled her rotten, basically. Now, I don't know if it's tea, but something I read that kind of made me say, So apparently, James had other kids. And there was a rift. I couldn't really find why there was a rift. Blended families are hard sometimes. But apparently, Sheila and James' kids didn't get along. Apparently, Sheila would try to they would try to come over, I guess, and see their dad or talk to their dad, and she would be in the house, act like they weren't home when they were home. And, I'll say what I have to say at the end, about that, because in my opinion, the call was coming from inside the house. But yeah, but that's neither here nor there. So she attended Oak Park and River Forest High Schools in Illinois. This family is from Chicago. I forgot to mention that earlier. So her father. So just because we have to mention this in order to get you paint a picture of where her downfall was, right? So, her father died. Basically, what happened to him was they went on a vacation. This is really sad. Went on a vacation in Greece, one of my dream vacations. So I cannot imagine how hard this was for the whole family. So in 2006, they went on a vacation to Greece. On this vacation, James had what they call a pulmonary embolism and passed away. He passed away at the hotel. And this was very, 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 very difficult for his daughter because, like I said, they were very close. So this was very difficult. It was difficult for her mom, but she wasn't really close to her mom like that. So after he passed, she really went on this downward spiral, drinking, smoking, partying nonstop, y'all. And she's very young. She's in high school, so she's very young, during this time. But she was still like drinking, partying, smoking. Her mom really couldn't do anything with her. According to several reports, in such a short time frame, the police, I think it was between 2004 to 2013, the police had visited their home 86 times. due to quarrels and arguments between her and her daughter after her dad passed. So it was high tension in the home, right? So on one of her, on one of her outings, Heather, she met a young man named Tommy Schaefer. So according to reports, Tommy was raised by a single mother. He was what we would call today a SoundCloud rapper. That's what I would call. All right. He was a SoundCloud rapper, but woo, all right.
Basha.
So when they met, I mean, they just fell head over heels for each other. I mean, she thought he was the best thing since sliced bread. Just that young, young love that it don't make no sense, love and all of that stuff. So in the meantime, her mom found out about this love triangle, and immediately Sheila did not like him, just for different reasons. Because I guess in the environment that he met her, just different factors. She didn't trust him and this sort of thing. So that was also a cause of some of the. Okay, yeah, yep, you're right. I agree. That that, but I was like, girl, really? But I was like, okay, all right, whatever. But she didn't like she didn't like him, and so that caused a lot of rift, between them because little Miss Heather was saying basically she was gonna stick beside him, and mom was like, no, you're not, so that just caused a lot of rift. So it was in their relationship. I read somewhere that Heather had to have 2 abortions, and both of them were forced by her mother. And but I think it was confirmed that both pregnancies were for, well, the baby was Tommy's as well. Yes. So we have all of this drama going on. In addition to the 86 times they were called out, according to, like, in January 2010, just to go back a little bit, sorry, Heather had punched her mom in her broken ankle. She bit her mom. She was also accused of stealing and robbing her mom. She did break her arm. Removed a phone cord to prevent her mom from calling 911. She would threaten her mom often. It was just a hot mess in their household. I mean, it really was. She was disrespectful. But her mom, it was a few times where, they would try to photograph her injuries and her mom was like, no. So I take that was just trying to, like, not give up on her daughter and trying to protect her future. So in the midst of all of this, unfortunately, she decided to still take Heather on vacation. I guess she thought that, with all this going on, what they needed was a vacation, because that's what they were used to with this family. They were used to going on vacations. And I'm telling y'all, they didn't go, like I said, they went to Greece. They didn't go on no, like,
Murder
little
Beach.
road trip to the mountains or nothing like that. They were in
Listen, out the
listen,
country with it.
out the country. This girl lived a very, very good life. I mean, to us, right? I guess to her, no, but whatever. Anyway, so Sheila decided to take Heather to Bali, and I was like, that is my dream vacation, Heather.
Mine too. It's on my bucket list.
It's on my bucket list. That and the Maldives. So yeah.
Hmm.
So she decided to take her to Bali, even though she admitted that her family, I'm sorry, even though she admitted to her friends that she was terrified of this girl, because how could you not be terrified of this girl? Because she done broke your limbs.
Hmm.
She done, you done had to call the police on her 86 times. She done stole from you and stuff. But even though, all this happened, she said, well, I'm going to take her on vacation. So what she did not know, they booked the first class flight, to Bali. But what she did not know is Heather had stolen her mother's credit card and also bought her boyfriend Tommy a ticket as well. So here we are. We have them traveling to Bali, and not knowing, Sheila did not know that he was headed there too. According to reports, he was actually traveling there to share the news that he and Heather were expecting a baby for the third time. So, yeah. So I'm going to let my sister take over here to get into the murder case, y'all. This is a whirlwind, and this is really sad and really crazy stuff. So, y'all, yes, my sister going to take over.
All right, so we have Heather, Tommy, and Sheila now in Bali. As my sister pointed out, Sheila was not a fan of Tommy. Tommy was unemployed. He did not come from a fluent background. He actually had a single mom. He, had a couple run-ins with the law here and there for little petty stuff, nothing too major. But he just was not a good fit for her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, Heather, this trip was not the first time Heather stole her mom's credit card. She often stole that credit card to have parties and binge nights and things like that. And Tommy was the one enjoying the fruits of all that. So quite naturally,
Mm-hmm.
Tommy was not trying. He wasn't trying to leave that situation, because when you
Yeah.
come from nothing and you encounter somebody who has literally everything and all she doing is squandering it, that's a come up.
Yeah.
So and she gonna take him all the way to the top because they were so head over heels in love. They're teenagers. Well, not teenagers, because Tommy was 21. She was a teenager. But so all of them are in Bali. At first, Sheila wanted to take her daughter to Bali to see if they could bond, see if they could get closer, because originally when James died, the father, they were very close for a period of time. And I guess it was kind of like that trauma bond. They were both healing, both processing what happened to James. But
Mm-hmm.
then she started acting out. Things kind of took a turn. So she's trying to get back to that, right? Things started off going good, and then she starts noticing that Heather's kind of slipping away. And she, begins to question it, because here we are in a foreign country. We're in Indonesia. My child does not know anybody in Indonesia. So exactly what is going on. And on one of these occasions when Heather has slipped off, Sheila began to worry. So quite naturally, she goes and starts to look for Heather. Sheila goes downstairs, and she's at the front desk, checking, trying to see anybody seen her daughter. And while she's in the lobby, she see Heather come strolling by with Tommy, and
Mm-hmm.
she immediately is like, how he get here? Because we know he ain't got no money. I
Yeah.
know he didn't pay for this. And so there was an altercation that occurred, and it was caught on camera. They were yelling extremely loud in the lobby. A lot of people there saw it. Hotel staff saw it, so on and so forth. Um, and Heather tried to calm her mom down by saying, let's go back to the room. Okay. So, mind you, now, as my sister said, Heather bought Tommy a business class ticket. They were in Bali for 10 days. This is averaging about $34,000 for this trip for Tommy alone, that she charged to her mom's credit card.
Mm-hmm. I think they said the ticket was like 12,000. The
Yes.
ticket itself,
for
yeah,
the,
it
for
was
the
12,000.
flight. We not
Yeah,
even counting the hotel. This is the
yeah,
St. Regis. It's a very nice resort, and it's like over like thousands of dollars a night. So all of that in total added up to like 34K just for Tommy alone. So
yep,
Sheila pissed off, and quite naturally, as she should be, because I would be too. And she's like, "You gonna pay for this?" And she telling the hotel staff like, "I'm not paying for that. Like, he's gonna pay for this. You want this trip? You pay for it." She know that boy ain't got no money.
yeah.
That's why he with your daughter. He ain't got
That's
no
her
money.
issue. That's her issue from the jump. He ain't got no
He
money.
ain't got no money. Like, what he gonna do? Like, he's not gonna be able to support you, Heather. He can't do anything for you, Heather. Like, you
He hating from outside the club. He can't get in.
can't even get in. And reportedly, there's allegations that Sheila was a little racist. Sheila was apparently allegations that she may have been a little, a drunk. I don't know. I'm not saying she was. I don't like to speak ill of the dead, but that is a suggestion as well, because it was reported that it wasn't just Heather abusive to Sheila. There was allegations that Sheila was abusive to Heather. So we got all this family dynamic is already crazy before we even get to Bali, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're gonna charge my card 34K. Now I'm about to turn it up a notch. Okay. So
You got to amp it up.
I'm about to turn it up a notch. Because first of all, you charging I'm mad if you charge my car $15. Cause what?
Listen,
Period.
let you listen. Sam's the other day, I had swiped that card. They said invalid or whatever. Swiped it
Yeah.
again, and I said, I checked my bank account. They didn't took the money twice. I said, oh no,
Right.
oh
I'm gonna
no,
need
no,
that back. I just
no,
had
no.
to handle a situation today where I was doing a refund of $25 and they gave me $8. I was like, I'm gonna need
Uh-uh.
them. I'm gonna need them other $17, bro.
Expeditiously.
Expeditiously. And we talking about 34K.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna turn it up a notch. Just so that's what happened. So Heather convinces Sheila to go back to the room. They go back to the room.
Hmm.
While in the room, Tommy and Heather. Well, no, I'm not gonna say and Heather. Tommy attacks Sheila and basically blood, which is believed to be a fruit bowl. After that, Tommy and Heather stuffed Sheila's partially naked and beaten body into a suitcase, rolled it out of the hotel. They held down a taxi, threw it in a trunk, and told the taxi to hold on, they'll be right back. As the taxi driver is seen there, sitting there, he's like, it's taking them a long time to get back. Like, what's up? So he takes the suitcase out of the trunk, takes it into the St. Regis, said, there was two people. He was looking for him. There was nowhere
Hmm.
to be around. They costing him money. He can't
Hmm.
sit around be waiting on you. He probably done missed about two or three trips. That's money right there that he could be making. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you one else the thing that I saw, right? So
Yeah.
I saw another issue. What happened was
Mhm.
she didn't trust Heather, so she had said that Heather couldn't use that card no more. She
Mhm.
told the hotel staff that.
Mhm.
So when she went in, I think Heather tried to go in and do something with the card, like make
Yeah.
some more purchase or whatever. They said no. So that's when the
Yeah.
taxi driver was like, nah, you know.
Right. So meanwhile, this suitcase start leaking blood, and they get a little suspicious. Like, well, what the hell is going on?
I
This is
wouldn't.
really not. I'm not laughing, but this is just so poorly planned. This is not thought out. This is not
Like,
thought out.
because they're kids, basically. They are kids and they have no idea what they're doing.
Yes,
And not that I would know what to do, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be killing nobody no way. But I'm just
I
saying.
wouldn't either, but I watch enough true crime to know not to do this.
Nah, not to do
Okay,
that. Right.
so they call the police. The police come, pop the suitcase. Boom, we got a body. So they can coordinate with the hotel staff. It did not take them long to realize that that was Sheila in that suitcase, and they knew she was there with her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, they suspected something horrible had happened to Heather, so they began looking for her because they was concerned. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know whole time Heather and Tommy done ran out the back of the hotel. Done took off.
They're runners, they're track star.
Bonnie and Clyde wannabes, like, and that's what they used to call themselves, Bonnie and Clyde. Like, that is diabolical. But anyway,
More like dumb and dumber. But anyway.
very dumb because when I get into this next part, so the police ended up, it didn't take them long to find them and all. That's how you know. And
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you, they checked in with their real names and used her mom's credit card again. Like, how dumb can you be? They checked into
Mhm.
like a roach rinky dink motel, and that's where
Mhm.
the police found them. But the police was like, we didn't have no choice but to leave Sheila. She was killed by robbers, and we was able to escape, so we had to run. But when they found them, they was in the room sleep. I guess murder makes you very tired. They
I
was
guess
in the room.
so.
They was in the room sleep, just like taking a nap.
I guess so.
So of course the police don't believe them. You know what I mean? Bali
Mm-mm.
is not really a very violent place like that. Like they have petty theft and crimes like that going on in the area. This is not typical. The police did not believe them and immediately took them into custody.
Exactly.
So they arrested him August 15, 2014. And Heather told them she was pregnant. Originally, they did not believe her. They thought it was a ruse. But they gave her a pregnancy test and come to find out she really was pregnant. Now, when they speak to them, Tommy was saying, he had to kill her because she attacked him and was calling him racial slurs and was threatening to kill the baby. And he alleged that that's the only reason that, that's the whole reason that they went to Bali was to tell Sheila that Heather was having a baby. Now, my thought process is if she done made Heather get 2 abortions already, what make you want to surprise this woman in a foreign land with
Mhm.
another pregnancy? How you really thought that was gonna go over with her?
You trying to catch this woman off guard. You got a ticket. She don't even know she paid for.
So
All
not
right.
only you done stole my $34,000, now you telling me you finna be my grandbaby father. I'm having about to be a grandma.
Yeah.
So they said she was a little racist, but I mean,
But what I want to know is, that's such a conversation for another day.
another
I'm gonna
day. I
stick
thought
to
I
the
know
to
where
the
you going with that, and I thought the
I'm gonna stick
same
to the
thing.
case. I mean, it's the obvious, but then there's
Yeah,
something else that just further validates for me. But that's a conversation for another day.
I don't know exactly what you're talking about though.
Yeah.
But he admitted to it, but he said it was in defense because Sheila, they told her. But see, this is the thing, they were lying because Sheila had a friend. Older folks back then, they used to email. Sheila had a friend named Elliot. Elliot said Sheila already knew that she was pregnant. Sheila knew Heather was pregnant, so they did not go to Bali to surprise her, and they found that in the email thread because Sheila was communicating with her friend about the situation. So that wasn't the truth.
No.
Um, they had said, so and what's crazy is that if they were both charged with premeditated murder, they face the death penalty, which in Bali is firing squad, death by firing squad.
Mm-hmm.
Their judicial system is a little different. They did not have a jury trial. It was a panel of 3 judges, kind of like a tribunal.
Mm-hmm.
And, they heard facts of the case, which these cases were held separately. They were not together. So Tommy had his case and Heather had her case, and they really showed a little leniency towards Heather for the simple fact that she was a mother. She actually gave birth to her baby during the process of this trial. So that kind of helped her situation as well. Um make a long story short, they were both found guilty. But
Mm-hmm.
Tommy was sentenced to 18 years because he was the one that actually did the murder. And Heather was sentenced to 10 years. And they said they were lenient on her because she had given birth to a baby during the trial. Now, under Indonesian law, Heather was able to keep her baby. The baby's name is Stella. Heather was able to keep Stella in the prison with her for a period of 2 years. And after that 2 years, she entrusted Stella to a friend she had met while in Indonesia who was Australian. And that Australian lady, took care of baby Stella while they were in prison. So there was also, meanwhile in America, Tommy's cousin, Robert Bibbs, was arrested in Chicago on federal charges for conspiracy. Because come to find out, he had been giving Tommy advice on how to kill Sheila before they even went to Bali.
Mm.
So
I
it's
thought
given
he was
very much
coming there to tell
premeditated.
him. I thought he was coming there to tell her they was pregnant.
It's given premeditated. And word on the street was that Heather was going around saying, I hate my mom and this, that, and third. I just want her gone. Blase, blase. I'm staying to get $11 million. It wasn't even 11 million. It was more like 1 million.
Yeah,
Wasn't even 11
because
million.
they had, I believe, I believe that they had money previously because he was a jazz musician, but he also got a hefty settlement because he had a foot injury, which he resulted in him being paralyzed or having partial paralysis. So
Yeah,
he sued Royal Caribbean, and then he ended up getting, I think they even settled a lawsuit. It was like in 2011, and that was
yeah,
after he passed. So they
yeah.
awarded Sheila the money, and then well some of the money, and then they put some in a trust, and then a portion of it was supposed to go to uh, badass. But
Really,
anyway,
all of it was supposed to go to Heather.
yeah.
I don't know how that happened with Sheila because it was supposed to be awarded to James' estate, and James left his entire estate to Heather. So that 500K, which like it turned out being like 340 after taxes, legal fees, and all that,
Mm-hmm.
should have all went to Heather, but it did not. Sheila had some set up, and then she put it in a trust, some of it in a trust for Heather to get, but only when she turned 30. Now,
Mm-hmm.
this other money from her dad's estate, she was not to inherit until she turned 21, which was right around the corner. And, she was trying to get her mom out the way so she can get access to this money. She was saying, she would offer $50,000 to Tommy if he hired a hitman to, basically take out her mom. Now, another thing I want to mention is that the will in question that left the whole James's whole estate to Heather, that will was drafted only 5 days before his death. That's gonna be important in a minute. And nothing was left to his other five children.
Didn't I tell y'all I had an issue with that earlier? Didn't I
I
tell
have an
y'all?
issue with a lot of things, and this
I
is one
mean,
of them.
granted, we don't know the dynamic. I don't know. I don't know the
We do.
dynamic of the situation.
We do.
But
Sheila was getting in the way of that, but I'm not going to blame Sheila because my stance on it is a real father never lets anyone or anything get in the way of him being a father to his children. This was not kids that he just randomly had with somebody off the street. He was married to these women and he
mhm,
had children, five other kids that he did not do anything for. He acted like Heather was his only child.
yeah, and that's the way the story's told. The only reason why I knew is because I did other research. I didn't, just you know,
Because
and
if you
yeah,
just looking on it on Snap Killer Couples, they don't even mention the other five kids.
and
They
I
don't
feel like that's
mention
trash.
nothing like that. I said that is trash. Like I listened to two or three podcasts and did some other
Yep.
research. And what hell, one of the altercations, which I think you may have mentioned that a minute ago, was Sheila getting into it with his kids that came to the house to like see him and stuff. Like
Yep.
Sheila was getting in the way of him being a father, and I very
Big
much feel
problem.
like she influenced his decision and had
Yeah.
something to do with him leaving his entire estate to Heather.
But I'm gonna tell you this. See, like I said earlier, the call you trying to keep it from this child, and just this child. I don't know how many outside kids he had. Well, I'm not even gonna call them outside kids because
They're not
if
outside
he was
kids.
married
He
to
was
their
married with them women.
if he was married with the women, these are legitimate
That
children.
man had
So
like
it
two or
does.
three ex-wives.
Yeah. So you worried about them taking stuff from you? The call was coming from inside the house. No disrespect to her, but like let's keep it real. Like you got to be careful trying to interfere with when you having blended families trying to intervene with
Yeah.
people and their kids and stuff like that. Because look at this situation. This is a hot ass mess.
And then only doting on one child. Like, first of all, I'm not even going to get involved with a man who's not doing and caring for his children. For number one, I don't like dating men with children. But if I do, the limit is one. And if you ain't doing enough for your child, I'm not even about to entertain it because I know you ain't gonna do
Yeah,
enough for mine, and I want kids. So
exactly.
it's
Mm.
like I feel like I'm not gonna get into that. As you said, that's a conversation for another day. I'm not gonna do that.
Because I'm gonna
You
be
know where
honest.
I'm going with it though.
Okay, I feel you because I was going the same way, but I'm gonna tell you, excuse that streak. I've been drinking something, but don't try me anyway. Um, but I'm gonna tell you this though. I want to see a picture of them other kids. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's where I was going with it. But you know what? My opinion, yeah, all the red flags. My opinion, Heather wasn't even cute. To me, I was just like she just light skinned
Like I said, that is a conversation for another
for
day because
another day because
I
we
could,
know them
I
other
could go.
kids was a little more melanated.
Yeah. I like I said, I would have to see. I would have to see
I know.
because reports are that this woman was racist, but seriously,
I feel it right here. Feel
yeah,
it right here.
that she was racist.
Yeah, in my heart.
Yeah,
I've no, not that she was racist, but that them
Mhm.
kids was a little more melanated. And
I want to see him.
his
I
ex-wives were
want to see
black
him.
women is what I feel.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Anyway, we ain't gonna open up Pandora's box today,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna look into that.
but
But so the cousin, he was sentenced to 9 years in prison, 2017, on one count of conspiracy to commit foreign murder. In the plea deal, it stated that he was aware that Heather offered Tommy $50,000 to kill Sheila, and he
yes.
even advised him on how to kill her and encouraged her to kill him to kill her. I was basically saying, make sure you ain't being seen by no cameras and stuff like that. There even was a message from Tommy to his cousin after he killed Sheila, saying, I don't even feel nothing. Like I don't even feel bad or nothing like that.
Oh wow.
So, this case garnered so much attention. First of all, they refer to her as the suitcase killer, Heather. She really was. I mean, she was the mastermind, but she wasn't the one that actually killed her mom. She said she couldn't do it. But she very much was the puppeteer. She was pulling the strings, and it garnered so much attention because y'all Indonesian prisons are way different from American prisons. Now, there is still not an ideal situation. There is overcrowding. However, they just roaming about freely. There was they had like some celebration at the prison. There was a lot of media coverage one time, and people were upset because Heather had on some Gucci sunglasses, just living her best life, walking around the prison, it was just she was taking a stroll in the park. She very much never wanted to return to America. She made that clear. She wanted to stay in Bali, raise Stella in Bali. She has not shown any sign of remorse. She actually, what I mentioned a minute ago, as far as the will being written 5 days before his murder, that's relevant because Heather even had social media, and she would release videos from inside the prison walls, like just her everyday life occurrences and stuff like that. And she released one where she alleged her mom was racist, and she said her mom killed her dad. There has been no evidence to support that, but I feel like that's important, and it kind of ties into that will suspiciously being drafted 5 days before he passed away. I don't necessarily believe it because, they've had autopsies and stuff like that, and medical reports show that he had a pulmonary embolism. I don't know how she would make him have that. You know what I mean? Like, and then she came back and recanted. Like, the girl has told so many lies and so many different stories about things that's happened. No one believes her. Tommy no longer has anything to do with her. He said that she is a black hole. And Tommy is very
A
remorseful.
hoe or a hole?
Hole, HOLE,
Oh,
a black
I
hole.
thought you said a hoe. I was about to
No,
say, really?
I'm sorry, a black hole, HOLE,
Oh,
y'all.
I thought you, because you said a black hole. Sorry, y'all. My hair a little thick, so I have to push it back sometimes so I can hear. I be hearing
So
stuff that I don't hear all the time.
you good, boo, but like she has done several media appearances. She's done several interviews. Tommy has not. He's
Yeah.
been, trying to do his time. He said he deserved to be where he is. And, there was one interviewer, accepted one interview because he felt the interviewer's energy was different. And he told her that, like, he could see the God in her. And that's when he said Heather was a black hole. He doesn't have anything to do with her. He actually fears for his daughter Stella's life, and fear and does not want her to have any dealings with her mother. So that's where Tommy stands on it. Now, there were, sis, do you want to get into these lawsuits or you want me to keep going?
I can do it.
Okay.
So, like we've been talking about, Heather was the beneficiary of this trust fund, right? So it wasn't 11 million. They've been saying 11 million. It was not. It was more like 1.6. But that's still a lot
Mhm.
of money from her mother, which was supposed to be paid in small amounts until she was 30. She started. I think she could get access at 21, but then she would get payments up until she was 30. And then at that point, whatever was left, she would just get that full balance at that time. So during this case, I think at least 150,000 was approved to help her with legal fees, plus smaller payments like food and expenses and stuff like that. So Sheila's brother, his name was Bill. he was like the administrator of the estate. I guess Sheila had him down, as someone to help management if something happened to her.
Mhm.
And he expressed concern because he was saying that he thought that the money from the trust was being used for bribes because the attorney that Heather had requested a $200,000 lump sum. So basically, they went back and forth with this whole lawsuit, but basically in 2018, the court, uh, the lawsuit was in favor of Heather, and that was the verdict on that. So in 2021, Heather was released from prison. She received, I think they said, a total of 34 months remission from her prison sentence, including like a 6-month Independence Day remission awarded by the president of Bali. And I was like, or Indonesia, I guess. And I was
Mhm.
like, they get 6 months remission from this.
They
So
do.
I was like, oh, wow.
Because
And
the
she was,
goal actually is rehabilitation over there. Like, American prison more so resembles slavery. But, a
yeah.
lot of they treat these people like human beings. Like the COs and stuff, they actually like what they do and they have, bonds with the inmates and stuff like that. So a lot of them actually are rehabilitated in this prison.
Mhm. That's something else I could get into, but it's just another day. But
Yeah.
but so, like my sister mentioned, Heather wanted to stay in Indonesia. She was actually freed from prison. It was October of 2021. She wanted to stay in Indonesia, and she thought compared to Chicago, it was much safer to be in Indonesia because Chicago, it is dangerous. It can be in particular areas. So no, basically Indonesia was like no, indicated that they both, since they were, even though her daughter was born in Indonesia, there is a law, like a nationality law, that they said that technically she's still an American, the baby's an American, so they both had to be deported. On Heather's arrival, y'all, she was arrested for conspiracy and obstruction charges. They started her trial. It was July 2023. And also, before that, in June, she pleaded guilty to one count of conspiring to kill a U.S. national. So at that point, she was facing up to 28 years. This month, just last week, on January 17th, Miss Heather was sentenced to 26 years in prison. She almost got the maximum. All right.
Right.
So I'm not really sure what happened to her daughter at this point. I don't know if she went back to the friend from Australia or what happened. But this is just really sad. But Heather, I'm sorry, sweetheart, you really brought this on yourself with this one. I understand,
I don't feel sorry for her.
yeah, I understand, sometimes, life can be hard, but what's undeniable is you killed your mom and you
Mhm.
had, someone over a boy. That's what I say, over a boy.
And that, I mean, that little puppy love, that childhood love, like that don't last.
Yeah,
I mean, some
yeah,
people it do. Some people marry their high school sweetheart, but I
yeah,
think about
yeah,
who I was back then and who I was in love with. Child,
yeah,
I would
yeah,
never.
yeah, yeah.
Now,
And for you to kill your mom over that, yeah. But you're right, you need to. But the only thing, I mean, I don't. Tommy, I mean, I'm not saying he's an angel, but I can tell that he is remorseful and he is, accepting his responsibility and his, his sentence, and he's doing his time and he understands where he's at, why he's there, and he's not trying to, he's
hmm
just owning up to his mistakes, and I could tell he's did a lot of growth and a lot of thinking. So this was a crazy case, very interesting. For the past two episodes, of the past couple episodes, we have did cases like in other countries that have taken place in other countries. So it's been really interesting to find out some of the other, in the other countries, how their approach to like
Mhm.
their judicial system and prison and stuff like that. So it's been interesting to learn all of that as well. So
Right.
y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. This was a great episode and a great case to do. Please tune in next Thursday at 1 p.m., where we upload our episodes on Spotify for podcasters and YouTube, Sisters in Crime with Sean Toy on both platforms. If true crime is not your thing, I perfectly understand. It can be a lot in some cases, but we do have an after show where we talk about current events and recent stuff. So if you're not into true crime but you like that sort of thing, please tune in there. But y'all, that is all. Y'all stay safe, be blessed. Y'all stop murdering people, because we have to talk about
Please.
y'all.
Y'all annoying.
But y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Take care. Love y'all. Have a great weekend. Mwah.
Bye.